Hej, how's everyone going? Hur är läget? Jag vill prata lite om min kamera idag. So yeah, today I want to talk a little bit about my camera setup, obviously whilst traveling. It's been a while since I've made a video about cameras or anything like that because our living situation has been constantly changing every few days. But now we have a sublet for the foreseeable future. I think it's time to sit down and talk about it. First off, I just want to say these are the things that I got for my personal needs. Do some of your own research as well. So this is my travel video film setup. I don't know what to call it. Here it is. Let's start with the camera. We got the Panasonic Lumix S5 II. So I think first things first is you got to know your price range. So I think you should get a list of all the things you need in a camera. That's what I wrote down and that worked for me, so it should work for you. So for me, the must-haves was the camera had to be full frame. It had to have some decent enough autofocus and some good stabilization, and that was where I started. So there were two things that sort of tipped me in the direction of the S5 II. That was the double SD card slot, and then also that it has good battery life. So yeah, that was a no-brainer because if I'm traveling and I can't sit down and use my computer, I'm not going to run out of space when filming stuff, and that's ideally something you want to never happen, is to not be able to film something. So yeah, the S5 II fitted my needs and my price range, and that's why I got it. It's that simple. I got two prime lenses. The first one we're going to talk about, I sort of bought more as like a test for myself, just because I've always wanted to see whether it was any good. It was the 7 Artesians 14mm f2.9, and you know what? I don't regret buying it. One, because it's so cheap compared to like any, I guess, reputable brand. I don't want to say that because it feels like I'm just throwing shade. Any mainstream brand. Two, because it's a 14mm on a full frame camera. It just looks like so wide, like mind boggling. And three, it's actually a really good lens. But then again, compared to some people, I don't think I've ever used a really good lens, so my opinion may be invalid. So the second lens I got is the Sigma 35mm. I actually went with the Contemporary, not the Art. What a cheapskate, which I am, because I bought two of the cheap options. Don't hate me, bro. Hate the manufacturer for making it so expensive. No, so I bought the Contemporary because the Art lens was way bigger. I wanted to try to avoid carrying around more stuff, so I was like, I'll go with the smaller option. Because when you think about it, when you really think about it, people can make a very good film on a camera that is not very good. And here we are today stressing about how good a camera is, when it doesn't really matter. It's about what's in here. I'm going crazy, guys. So now for the accessories. I got a bunch of spare batteries. I got two like genuine ones, and then I got two ones made by Neewer, which actually have been pretty good and have just like worked completely fine. I've not recommended to use like other budget batteries because sometimes like they don't charge or they die really quick or whatever, but these ones have been good, and they actually came with a charging bank, which is something that Panasonic didn't give me with the camera. Yeah, they only give you a little USB-C cord with the camera. Accessory number 2 is the Rode mics. I've spoken about these a bunch before, so I'm not going to go into much detail. They're easy, they're small, and they work good, so I think having better audio is something that's can distinguish a good video from something that's not as good or doesn't keep you as entertained. I also got a little backup lav mic, which again I've spoken about before in another video, but it was just like a budget just in case these ones sort of fail. So the next accessory might actually be one of my favorites. It's the small rig cage for the camera, and like its purpose, I'm traveling, you're not in a controlled environment, so you might drop something, whatever. At least it offers a little bit of protection. And then the other thing it's really good for, what is it good for? Think about it. Options to clip things onto the cage that you wouldn't have if you just had the camera body. And it's also good because you can just like throw on the top handle anytime you want, if you need to, or just for comfort, I guess. These are all luxuries, I know, guys. I genuinely think though the Cage is super underrated, especially if you're traveling. It just makes me feel so much more comfortable that I'm not going to damage or like scratch my camera as much as if there was nothing on it. The next thing is something actually that is something I haven't had in the past, because I haven't really had a big enough camera set up to need one or to justify having one, and that's to like invest in a camera bag. I got the Ulanzi camera bag. I'm gonna put what liters it is. I can't remember what liters it is. I think it's the 9 liter. It's super comfy and it easily fits like 2 lenses and the camera body, as well as everything I've spoken about. So like batteries, the mics. It actually looks pretty decent, like it doesn't mess up the fit. But yeah, if your camera setup sort of got any much bigger than 2 lenses and the body and what I have, then you'd probably opt to look at like one of those backpacks, but we're not there yet, guys. Also, I got the tripod, clips into the bottom of the camera bag, which is, yeah, innovation. If I could change something now, like looking back, I'd get a zoom lens, like something I can get a bit more details with than a 35mm. Because that's something I feel like is missing from my videos, so I won't really look at getting one until like I find a good deal somewhere. So could be tomorrow, could be never. No, it will be one day. I can't go on forever like this. So yeah, that's like the whole setup. Maybe if you're not traveling, you're not gonna like the setup, but you could still use it. I think it's pretty cool. Also, I've got some cool little trips planned in these next few months, so if you want to see those, stick around. And also I'm gonna do a little, I guess, life update of what it's like us moving to Stockholm. So stay tuned for that. Hej då, vi ses.